Hi Stampers, my name is Sandy Hancock and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Southern California. Today is Monday, November the 18th, 2024, and I have 3 more cards that I've made out of Pretty Petals. Now, last time, I'm just going to remind you, if you didn't see my video for November the 11th, it's just called Pretty Petals also. I'm going to just remind you of what I made. First, I made a very simple card. I used real red. And then I used the Spotlight on Nature dies. And then I used the Wildflower designs. And I also added the painted texture embossing folder on this one. Okay, now watch what I did this time. Okay, so I just took the countryside corners and added that to this very simple card. And that's how I've come up with this card. Okay, now the only difference is I am going to double this. So this is 2 on top of each other. Okay, then watch what I did. So then I took the center of this card out and I created a second card using the countryside corners. And then I needed one more too. I mean, I had to cut one more layer down. And again, added the the painted texture embossing folder. And then after I show you those 2 cards, now this one's in red. I'm going to make it in purple tonight. I'm showing you this fun fold card. And again, I went back to the Wildflower designs to make this one. Sending Love Your Way is from Regal Flora. And this little for you is from the Rustic Crate, which I did a couple of weeks ago. And some of you may not have seen, for 5 weeks now, I've been posting my videos on my old site. And so I just kind of disappeared for 5 weeks, but actually I have posted every week. So the Rustic Crate, I made, I think at least 3 cards on Rustic Crate if you're interested in seeing that. There was one for fall, one for Thanksgiving, and one for Christmas. So, okay, so this will be the last thing I do. Okay, so tonight I am working with purple. So let's start. I'm going to get this out of the way. But I'll leave that there so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to be working with countryside corners. And I'm just going to show you it doesn't come as a bundle anymore. In fact, this is not even available, but the dies are available. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I have the 2 biggest ones I'm going to show you right now. All right, so this is what I did. You need 1/4 of a piece of cardstock, and you just run this through. Then you poke out the inside. That's going to become the second card. And then here's your border. And I've just taped these 2 together because I'm trying to get them equidistant all the way around. And I mean, if I have to, I can take them apart. And but this is how it actually looks. So you've got quite a few layers that you can make. That's why I like this so much. Okay, so countryside corners is what I'm working with right now. So we'll set this aside because I don't need it yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put these 2 borders together. And if you're asking why, I think I mentioned it already. I just like the feeling of the depth, the additional depth that it gives to the card. So let's see if we can get these 2 together nicely. Takes a tiny bit of patience to do this. And it might even make a difference, like which side is up. Oh, I think this looks pretty good. Okay, so let me take, I had a piece of cardstock out here already. Well, obviously I didn't, so, oh, nope. Okay, let me just get one. And so this is the standard, oops, where's my, here it is. 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, So here we go. So the very first thing we're going to do is put the border on, because that's going to tell me exactly where to stamp. It really makes this card go together much more easily. It's pretty hard to guess where to stamp and have it be in the center here. So we're not going to do it. We're not going to guess. We're just going to put this down, hopefully in the center. Let me... Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so now we've got this, and then I'm going to use Sending Lots of Love, which is what I used there. And that happens to be from a new Hearts of Elegance. It's a suite, and it has gift bags, gold trim, hearts. I think it has heart sequins in it. And then, of course, look at all these. Oops, hey, where did that come? How did that come off? It's got all these hearts and also for the flowers. So this is going to be a super fun set to work with, not just for Valentine's. I think we can use hearts for a lot of things, a lot of times. Okay, I'm looking at this again. Yeah, I think it's straight. Okay, so I'm going to find, here it is. Okay, and then I'm going to put this down here too, because I'm using the Pretty Petals bundle. It's online, and you can get the bundle. I'll just show you again. I am going to use the dies tonight a little bit. The bundle, yeah, it comes with this big flower, the little flowers that go on there, and then a few little extra pieces. And I do have one card I made tonight where I'm cutting out the big design. And I tried to use this a little bit, and I'll tell you a little bit about that one. Okay, so I'm going to get my, even though this is Highland Heather cardstock, I'm using Gorgeous Grape ink because the Highland Heather for me is just not quite dark enough. I'm going to give it a good little huff, pull it down. I'm not sure you can see it, but I need to see what I'm doing. Okay. Ooh, looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to get my shaded spruce, and here's the big stamp. It's going to be the greenery, and I don't know, don't ask me why, but I like to apply the pad to the stamp on this one. I feel like it just gets such good coverage. Okay, now I'm going to want to center this and get it straight. So I'm hovering a little bit before I stamp. Woohoo! Okay, that looks good. Okay, so this, remember, is distinctive stamping. And so when I stamp, it's already shading itself. You can see some areas are darker, some are lighter. That's what distinctive stamping is. So you're not going to get just a full-blown dark print like you're used to getting when you stamp. But yeah, distinctive stamping is just going to be a little bit different. Okay, now I'm just going to remind you again, if you didn't see the video last week, did I show you the 3 cards I already made? I don't think so. I'll show them to you at the end. Okay, there's a little hole in this stamp, and the flower right underneath it is the flower that mounts right here. And then there's a flower that mounts here. But the main thing you need to do, I had a class on Wednesday and they said, oh, you made it look so easy on the video. Well, I practiced a few times. Okay, so I'm just kind of hovering. Yeah, we were laughing. I said, yeah, huff and hover. Huff and hover. I think that is good. And I'm pressing pretty firmly again because it's distinctive stamping. Okay. So basically, I'm done. I want to add the fine purple shimmer gems like I did here, but I ran out of the small ones. And I do have the big ones, but I'll show you the big ones. But they're pretty big. They're just a little bit bigger than I want on these flowers. So I have an order arriving in a day or two. And so when the order arrives, I'll actually go back and add the shimmer, purple shimmer gems. And then inside, let me find my little stamp. Here we go. Oops, I closed my green pad. This is one of the, another stamp that goes with this set. It's just a little piece of greenery I'm going to put there. And then there is a stamp. You see it's got 2 flowers on it. And I'm going to stamp it in purple. Don't stamp both stamps in the ink just to play with it and see, because then you're going to have ink all over this stamp. So just pat it like that on the pad. And then ink it. Okay, so that's a nice little surprise when you open it up. Okay, so there's card number 1. Okay, now, let's see. Well, okay, I'm going to take this out of the way. Okay, card number 2. I'm going to, remember I've taken this piece. I already have an extra piece, so I guess I don't need that one. Okay, so now I've already taken, this is a 5 1/4 by 4. And yes, you see I'm not wasting cardstock. I can't remember what happened here. Something happened that I didn't like. Oh, I'll just use the other side. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add the painted texture. I'm gonna give this one more good score. I'll do it this way. Okay, then I want to stamp on this white piece, and I'm going to use my So Sincere set. You can find anything that fits, but what's going to happen is I'm going to put these here, and so you want something that's going to fit right here. So thankful for you. That's from my So Sincere set. Okay, so I'm not sure that's exactly straight, so we're going to turn it over and do it one more time. I'm going to pull it down. You may not be able to see it, but I can. Okay, better. Okay, so now this is the only time I've really used the die to cut this out. So I stamped it, and I'm putting 2 underneath it to, again, to give it a little bit of depth. Now, you wouldn't have to do this, but this is one I messed up, so I thought I'll just use it as one of the layers. Yeah, you really have to practice several times before you get the feel of stamping the flowers and getting them in the right place. But, okay, so now let's put this together. I'm going to add this Countryside Corners base with dimensionals. That gives it a little bit more interest. Oh, let's put one in the center. Okay, so over my wastebasket we go. Taking all of these off, hoping they all hit the wastebasket and not my floor. By Jove, I think they did. Okay, so now I'm just going to add this right in the center. Okay, then I'm going to add the white. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's octagon. Okay, so I'm going to add the white octagon. Did I get that on there straight? Not quite. If it's not down for but a second, you can actually move it. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's put down So Thankful for You. Then remember, this is 3 that I've stacked, and that's going to go here. And then once again, I can't add the little gems yet because I don't have them. Here's what it looks like with the gems. So basically it's still a very simple card. And you wouldn't have to stamp and cut this out. You could just stamp on it like I did this one. I just like the extra depth of the 3 stacked. So that's why I kind of am glad I got the bundle. But that is totally up to you. Okay, so there's card number 2. Then card number 3. Now here comes the fun fold. Okay, now I've done it, I've done it in red. So I'm using the Wildflower Designs. This little For You is from the Rustic Crate. So it's gonna open like this. And Sending Love Your Way comes from Regal Flora. A lot of us have been using that particular bundle. And I think this time I'll just go ahead and use the one out of the new set. But this is what I'm getting ready to show you how to make. So I might have to get up and down a couple of times. I am going to make it in purple this time. I've never made it in purple, and I thought it might be kind of fun to just see what it's going to look like. Okay, so this piece of cardstock is 8 by 5 1/4. And well, okay, I scored it at 4 and I scored it at 6, or you can turn it this way, score it at 2 and 4. I don't know why I said 4 and 2. I'm really not trying to confuse you. Okay, so that's that. Put that down. And then this is going to be my base card, which again is Highland Heather. So we'll just go ahead and get this one. Make sure that's even. Okay, so now I'm going to get out my Wildflower Design dies, and I'm going to, I've already stamped this. I thought, how many times do you need to see me stamp it? Probably not every time. So let me take this off. Okay, so you get this, and I showed you this in the last video, but if you didn't see the last video, then you won't know what I'm talking about. So let me find my, here we go. Let me just poke out this little design. See, this is actually a really important piece of this because it has, okay, let me hold this up. See, it's got some of the green down at the bottom and a little bit of the green at the top. So it's really important to make that whole. And the only way it's going to stick together is, like I showed you last week, is if you put dimensionals that right across both pieces. So I'm just doing that again. And I'm going to put one on each, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is just a hexagon. Okay, on each side of the, oops, be still there. On each side of the hexagon, the dimensional is going over both pieces. Okay, so let me take these off. Oh wait, am I ready to stick them down? Oh, I hope so. Am I? Okay, let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm not. Okay, so got ahead of myself. All right, so I'm going to take now, I'm going to take this biggest die from Wildflower Designs, and I've got to cut it out of here. And I want to get it centered. And straight would be really nice. This is 4. I thought it was 4. Oh, it's 4 1/4. Okay, I think that looks pretty centered. Okay, is that good? Can you tell I'm a little bit of a perfectionist? Probably. Okay, let's see if I can get one more piece of this, if it will let me know where to start it. Well, don't you hate it when it does that? Come on. All right. Okie dokie. No, I can't get it off my finger. Okay, so I'm going to go run this through the die, through the machining. You'll hear my electric machine going here. Yeah, so Stampin' Up doesn't have an electric one right now. This is a Sizzix, and I don't think it's being made anymore right now. But if you go online and look for an electric cutting machine. Okay, so here we go. We have this. All right. So then we're gonna, I'm gonna go run this through one more time. Make sure it releases nicely. Maybe a couple of times. If you have back problems or shoulder problems, it's really, really nice to have an electric machine. Okay, so now what we really don't need, and I'll show you the part. See, this comes out too, but we can't really use it. Let me show you this one again. Here's the finished one. Okay, we just can't use this piece very well. All right, so now I can take this and put it on here, and centered would be nice. I think that looks good. All right, okay, so now what we're gonna do, there may be an easier way to do this, but I don't know how well my die is going to cut through these two layers because they're both pretty thick. So I'm just going to add adhesive around the outside edge, and you'll see why in a minute. Maybe a little bit on the corners, and I'm going to put it right over the top. Okay, now what happens is if you emboss before you cut, when you go back to cut, it's going to smash this down just a little bit, but I'm okay with that. Okay, however, I'm not okay with not getting it on there straight. Okay. Okay. Okay, now what we're going to do is just flip this over, put this right where it belongs. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to go run it through again, maybe a couple of times to get this white piece cut. It's just easier this way than trying to cut through both of those big layers. So I'm going to do it several times. And let's see if it came out nicely. Okie doke, what have we got? Pull that off, turn it over. Okay, there we go. And see how it has flattened it some, but it's okay. It is going to be okay flattened. Now, I don't know what to do with this part, so you might think of something really creative to do with this white piece. But I'm not going to be thinking of it right at this moment. Oh, and see, we also have the white frame that we need to get out of here because we can't really use it. So, yeah, ideally, I'd love it if that would fit in there. And then this would fit in there. But it just, you can't really fasten this to anything. So we will just say goodbye to that. All right, so now for the inside piece, here's where I scored at I scored at 2 and 4. So let's get this folded. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so first we'll score it in half. Fold it in half. Then we're just going to fold this back like that. Okay, so now this is ready to fit in here. So let's go ahead. We'll put adhesive all over the back of this secondary piece. Okay, So this is 1/4 of an inch smaller, so it'll just slip right in here. Okay, there we go. Okay, now this is going to open like that. Okay, so now this piece is going to slip right in here. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so cute. Okay, so now I just want to put adhesive on this side. Okay, so here we go. You really don't have to put Parent tape unless you just want to. I don't think this is gonna come apart. So let's just kind of, I'm just looking at the points, centering it, and it looks good here and there, I think. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now, wow. Okay, fun. Sadly, I can't put my cute little fine adhesive. That's kind of a mouthful. Purple fine shimmer gems, something like that. I can't put them on there because I don't have them, but they will go on there. And then I'm going to take the little tiny For You. And normally you don't like to stamp over an embossing folder, but I'm just going to try this one and see if this works. Yeah, it works great because it's been smushed down. So I embossed it first, ran it through the cutter, and that smushed it. So you don't have to worry too much about stamping. Okay, now what inside, I'm just going to put the same greeting that I've been using. Again, it's from Hearts of Elegance. This is online. And I actually wrote that down, but where I wrote it down is a mystery. Sorry about that. Okay, you may have to look it up. Doggone it, I actually looked that up. Okay, sending lots of love. Nice. You know, in the red, so let's look at the red again. The red's pretty spectacular. Okay. They're both really, really pretty. So this one just needs its little sparkle gems. I'm gonna just score this one more time. Just want you to lay down very nicely. It's not going to be perfect because of the way it's folded, but anyway, so you can go purple, you can go red, and you can see it's actually very easy to do with just one little additional piece of paper. And I'll show you all the dies, even though they're a little messy looking right now. So I just used the biggest one and the next biggest one for this project. So Wildflower Designs. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna move these pads. I wanted to show you all the cards that I've made using Pretty Petals. And I'm telling you, I went from, not sure, you know, if I'm gonna love this set or not, to really loving it. Okay, so here's one. Here's a simple one. Oh, did I show you pink? Let's show you this one in pink. And let's see. Okay, this one I made last time. This one I made last time. See what? Oh, I've got two of these out. Okay, let me move the purple. I'm going to stick this one in here. So twice I've used the Wildflower Designs. Countryside Corners, nice and plain, and then the Spotlight on Nature. So those are the 6 cards I've made, and I really, obviously, am enjoying using this bundle. So consider it because it's really good for all year round. I think this would be a delightful Valentine card, but in pink or purple, you know, it doesn't have to be Valentine's. It could be a really pretty birthday card. It could be an anniversary card. It could be absolutely anything. So thank you so much for joining me. I've had a lot of fun designing these cards, and I will look forward to having you next time.